So, wo haben wir das denn hier? Hier. Da ist er drauf. Und der Junge. Und wer ist dieser Junge? Mr. Garrett, could I ask you to look at this photograph? Is that your son who's with you there? No, not at all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan was his name. Okay. Duncan was. A street photographer happened to be passing, so I asked him to take a shot. Just for kicks, really. Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume? Yes, that's right. Oh, dann ist der an Erstickung gestorben. Okay, well, RIP. Ah, the young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. Just what Mr. Moustache was waiting for, one might say. Yes, young Duncan lived in the room at the top of the first flight of stairs before the Japanese chap. Would you mind telling us a little more about him? The lodger's death. Yes, Duncan was. Young chap was attending art school, had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved into the middle floor room about a year ago, after that criminal Seelen was arrested. Young students are always on the hunt for rooms with a history behind them. A history of cheap rent, maybe, yes. Yes, well anyway, it was one morning about a month ago now. Hadn't quite worked out the old trick of watching the gas lamps to see what my lodgers are up to at the time. So sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what had happened. Smell of gas that alerted me it was. Ah yes, synonymous with the smell of death. Called the police straight away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off his hinges. But once we got inside, we all body collapsed. Because of the gas. Yes, room was full of it, no air at all. Stove must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed. So Mr. was suffocated to death. Course, the police gave me a sound ticking off because the gas pipes were so old and all that. And tell you how much it set me back to have the lot replaced all over the house. But even after you had all that work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. That the stove goes out at night, whilst he is asleep in bed. Well, that's the bally curse, the convict's curse. I've done my duty as a landlord now. Someone's feeling defensive. Ah, that reminds me actually. Yes? About young Duncan, the night before the poor chap perished. He'd been writing a letter of affection to a young lady. Wer das wohl sein könnte. A love letter, you mean? Yes, where did I put it now? Ah, here it is. Left it on my desk. If you'll excuse me, let me see now. What does it say? To my most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Do you think that we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence? My dear Mrs. Sato, that is precisely why I prefaced my reading with, if you'll excuse me. I will not excuse you, Mr. Sholmes, no. Sadly, he didn't address it though. So I have no means of delivering the thing. Rather sad, really. I see, that's going to play on my mind. Oh, jetzt müssen wir das überbringen, ne? But really, the identity of Mr. Ross' sweetheart has no bearing on the case. I think we should leave well alone. Yes, I suppose you're right. Indeed, the intended recipient's address is missing. However, there is a name attributed to the man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Mr. Sholmes, please! I've already had to chastise you about this once. My undying love to you, my colorful darling. Olive Green. Ah! Oh, Olive Green. The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged into her back outside this house 5 days ago. The victim of the last case Soseki-san was in court for, who regained consciousness only yesterday. Wie das alles connected is. It is just chance that her name has come up now. Could it possibly be a mere coincidence? Mr. Naruhodo, whatever can this mean? Reading personal correspondence can have its merit, you see, Mr. Sato. Oh no. Present. I guess? Können wir jetzt noch conversen? Nein. Dann gehen wir mal zu Miss Green. (22nd February, St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Recovery ward. Mr. Naruhodo, I've just finished speaking with the doctor. It seems Miss Green is well enough to be discharged at last. This is good news, but hopefully just before she leaves. Ah! What is it? Miss Green! Okay, what was that? She clearly just hit something behind her back. One moment. I'll be with you in a jiffy. Mir fällt jetzt erst auf, dass sie hier auch so einen Schlüssel hängen hat. Ob das noch von Relevanz ist, ich weiß es nicht. Oh, hello everyone. What are you all doing here? The doctor has said I can be discharged, so I'm just getting my things together. Wie lange braucht sie dafür eigentlich? Sie hat doch gar keine so große Tasche. Miss Green, what were you just doing? Oh, nothing, really. I was just about to take some medicine the doctor prescribed for me, that's all. Well, we were hoping to have another quick chat with you if that's alright. I don't really have anything else to tell you. Alright, she's definitely behaving strangely. Let's see if we can't coax something out of her. Converse. Hospital discharge. It's wonderful news that you're going to be discharged, Miss Green. Oh yes, I mean, thank you. Once people are better, the hospital staff don't want them lingering and wasting space. Not people like me, anyway. So I don't think I should keep anyone waiting. I probably shouldn't stand around and chat. She certainly doesn't seem to be in the mood to talk, that's for sure. Okay. Dann zeigen wir ihr mal das Foto. Miss Green, we were hoping to ask you about someone. Mr. Duncan Ross. You knew him, didn't you? No. No! Oh no, I'm so sorry. The bottle of medicine fell down when she did. Oh, Miss Green, are you alright? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to startle you like that. No, it's alright. I just wasn't expecting it. But how do you know about Duncan? Mr. Ross had been writing a letter when he passed away. The landlord found it in his room. It was a very personal letter. To you. It was at the art school. That's where I met Duncan. A year ago now. He was working to fund his studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist one day. And the two of you became romantically involved. Yes, that's right. We were very much in love. We were engaged to be married, actually. That's why he decided to move into a cheaper room, to save money for the wedding. And that's what led him to Mr. Garrett. Yes, he told me he'd found the worst, but cheapest room in the entire East End. And then, 1 month ago, that's when it happened. We are so terribly sorry, Miss Green. Well, it's all in the past now, I suppose. Poor Miss Green. She looks desperately sad. I was starting to think that's just her look. But now I see that she has every reason to feel the universe is against her. I do hope you won't think I'm being rude, but would you mind leaving me in peace now? I have to leave the hospital soon. Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to hold you up. Of course, we'll be on our way. Mr. Naruhodo! Surely you were not about to leave. That's quite out of the question. Okay. It's past. You don't need found the words of cheapest women, and then it won't happen. Okay. Okay. Well, Mr. Sholmes, I didn't realize you were here. But of course I was, my dear fellow, watching intently from the shadows as always. Well, make your presence known next time. Mr. Sholmes, what's this about? Something which occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Sato, is this. Why do detectives insist on such an ex post facto modus operandi? Why solve a case after it's happened, instead of preventing a case before it happens? That is what sets a great detective apart. What do you mean? There's a case waiting to happen under our very noses, Mr. Naruhodo. So let us avert disaster. Let us prevent this case from ever happening, with nothing but careful observation. Alright. All the clues you need are set before you. You need only look, and you cannot fail to see. You can do it, Mr. Naruhodo. I know you can. Okay. Hä? Habe ich jetzt was verpasst? Okay. Oh, warte mal. What the art school? That's where it met like a year ago. He was working on the funded studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist. Romantic involved. Ja. Love. Nice. Engaged to be married. Cheaper room. Und dann dead. Okay. In the past now, I suppose. Poor Miss Green. She looks desperately sad. Arme Miss Green. You can do it, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay. Dann gucken wir uns mal um hier. I guess. Gucken wir uns das Foto nochmal an. Mr. Duncan... Oh nein. Ich sehe gerade die Ratte da unten. Oh nein. Who would ever have thought he was engaged to be married to Miss Green? To lose one's beloved fiancé must be painful enough. But then Miss Green suffered that awful injury, and outside her fiancé's former lodgings too. Fate can be very cruel sometimes. Okay, die arme Ratte. That mouse seems to be dead. Look, I didn't notice it there before, did you? I think perhaps it drank the medicine that spilled out of the bottle. But that's the bottle that Miss Green was about to drink from when we arrived. You don't think... Nein. Als ob! Nein. Sie wollte sich jetzt nicht umbringen, oder? Ah, I see you've come to appreciate the true nature of the scene. That of a tragedy about to take place. Yes, I think it's falling into place. Nein. Nein! Miss Green! The contents of the bottle you had before has split out on the floor. And the poor mouse that drank it has sadly died. Ah! I think it's clear that the bottle must have contained a powerful poison. Aber hat sie Shakespeare vergiftet? Hat sie Shakespeare vergiftet? Kann ich mir nicht vorstellen eigentlich. Ich meine, was wäre ihr Motiv gewesen? Ihr Duncan hat in Natsumes Raum gewohnt und nicht in Shakespeares. War sie das? glaube ich nicht. Don't worry. I will attend to the mouse presently. Miss Green, were you intending to go to the same way as that rodent? To take your own life? Ah! Once we'd left, you would have put it to your lips again, wouldn't you? And taken the poison. No! Miss Green, please talk to us. Okay, ich guck mir nochmal den Brief hier an. It definitely feels as though this card must be relevant. I mean, when we first arrived, Miss Green was standing with it in her hand, in what can only be described as a very tense atmosphere. Yes, it may very well be related to whatever incident Mr. Sholmes believes was about to happen here. Perhaps we should ask Miss Green about it. Okay. Wir haben viele Fragen. Converse. Suicide. 10 seconds later and we would have arrived at a very different scene here. In all probability, we would not have enjoyed this most delightful conversation. Of course, perhaps it hasn't been quite so delightful from your perspective, Miss Green. Actually, in a way, now that everything's out in the open, I feel like a weight has been lifted. Tell me, how did you acquire that medicine? Well, with this being a hospital and all, when the doctor comes to examine me in the mornings, he always leaves the medicine cabinet open for a while, so I snuck this out when he wasn't looking. It conspicuously lacks a label. I wonder what it contains. I'm afraid I don't really know, but I thought if I drank it, it might just stop the pain somehow. Oh please, Miss Green, don't talk of such things. Well, it seems clear now that it contains poison. Yes, that poor little mouse is proof of that. Oh no, oh, it's all my fault. What have I done? I shall remove this to my office, Miss Green. I take it you have no objection. No, none. The card. Neither the sender's name or address appears to be written on the envelope or the card. It arrived by post at my home the day before the incident that put me in hospital here. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Okay. Come to the Slug and sell it on Dwyer Road at 5 PM on 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Wait a minute. The 17th of this month. That's the day you were stabbed on Dwyer Road. And 5 PM is precisely the time when the incident occurred. Okay. The Slug and Sell It, yes. A pub on the northern corner of Dwyer Road. Dwyer Road, being the street that Mr. Gary Depp's house is on. Does this mean that... Yes, I'm sure you've guessed. That day when I was struck in the back by the knife, I was actually on my way to the Slug and Sell It. Goodness. So that's what you were doing on Dwyer Road that day. I'm sorry I didn't say anything before. I think I really will have to ask you to excuse me now. I've told you everything. Yes, I'm very sorry to have had to drag up such painful memories for you. Sie hat diesen Brief bekommen und ist dann... Okay. No, it's fine. Miss Green, please, promise us you won't try to do anything like that again. Yes, don't worry. Your detective friend has a bottle now anyway. And besides, I've been stabbed in the back and had a close shave with a bottle of poison, and I'm still here. I think I'm destined to see things through to the end. It might sound a little conceited, but, well, that's how all this has made me feel. Leute, macht keinen Scheiß. Macht keinen Scheiß im Leben. Also, zu einem gewissen Grad könnt ihr Scheiße machen, ne? Aber nicht zu so einem Grad. Zu so einem Grad, ne? Wenn ja, holt euch Hilfe. Noch sei an der Stelle gesagt. Leaving Miss Green and St. Bartholomew's behind, we made our way back to Baker Street with Mr. Sholmes. Well, it would appear we've reached the end of the investigative trial for today. Trail, meine ich. Yes, it's late. And, Mr. Naruhodo, did you discover anything that may be of use to you in your court tomorrow, do you think? Details about Mr. Shamspeare, Mr. Garrideb's lodgings, the convict Seldon. There are many facets to this case, and we are yet to see to the heart of it, if you ask me. That's my feeling anyway. I can't help wondering about the results of the analysis. Into Mr. Natsume's tea, you mean? Yes, will they have found Switch 9 in it or not? Well, I fear that either way, it will be hard to escape the grip of our friend Mr. Reaper. Oh dear. Yes, Baroque van Siegs. But I wish you every success, of course. And though I was late to rise this morning, tomorrow will be a new dawn. I intend to spring from my bed at the crisp hour and attend the trial. Mr. Sholmes, you're going to come? Indeed, whatever happens, I shall be there, assuming my eyelids cooperate in the morning. Well, I think we've done all we can. All that's left is to remain focused and keep fighting for Mr. Natsume's cause until the very end. Nice. Let's do this. London, the world's most prosperous city, home to some 6 million people. But away from the weather desert, down back alleys and behind bricked-up windows, the lonely lurk. Soseki-san had battled long and hard with loneliness during its many months here. And so I felt honor bound to battle equally hard for my compatriot, to lift the curse that gripped him. As Mr. Sholmes said, tomorrow would be a new dawn, for all of us. To be continued. Ja, nice! Ich bin gespannt, wie sich das Ganze auflösen wird. Wir haben hier jetzt sehr vieles herausgefunden. Dass Mr. Shamspeare scheinbar in seiner Wohnung einmal diesen geheimen Stash hatte und dann beim Bild noch irgendwas gemacht hat. Dass in diesem geheimen Stash ein Nachrichtenartikel drin war und ein Foto. Der Nachrichtenartikel über den Vorvormieter von Natsume, diesen Verurteilten, der natürlicherweise im Gefängnis gestorben ist. Und von Duncan Ross, dem Vormieter von Mr. Natsume, der wegen Erstickung in der Wohnung gestorben ist. Und 3 Tage später kam schon Natsume an, meinte, ja, ich hab Bock, da zu wohnen. Und der Shamspeare wollte da scheinbar auch wohnen. Und ja, alles ziemlich sass. Dann haben wir noch herausgefunden, dass Miss Green, die Frau von dem Vormieter von Mr. Natsume, die Verlobte von Duncan Ross, die irgendwie am Tag, wo sie gesteppt wurde, in Episode 4 von Adventures, dass die einen Brief bekommen hat und irgendwie deswegen unterwegs war, als sie gesteppt worden ist. Und in diesem Brief stand halt, ja, Wahrheit von Duncan Ross Tod, ne? Und so kann ich dir sagen, komm vorbei. Und ja, das soweit. Das war jetzt nochmal kurz, glaube ich, die wichtigsten Details zusammengefasst. Werde ich am Anfang der nächsten Folge sowieso nochmal machen. Ich werde jetzt aber erstmal ins Bett gehen und diese Aufnahmesession beenden. Deswegen bedanke ich mich fürs Zuschauen, bedanke mich fürs Dabeisein. Und ja, ich bin mal gespannt, wie dieser Fall noch relevant sein soll. Wieso dieser Fall der Grund sein soll, warum Susato nach Japan zurückgerufen wurde. Und warum Ryonosuke kein Anwalt mehr sein darf. Das hat er ja auch gesagt, ne? Also ich bin mal gespannt. Und warum der gerade so weird geplaced ist. Ich meine, das ist spannend, ne? Ich möchte erfahren, wer wirklich der Täter war, nicht der Mörder, weil ja nicht mal zu Mord gekommen ist, aber der Täter. Ich bin sehr gespannt, was das Ganze angeht. Aber das werden wir dann im nächsten Part, in der nächsten Aufnahmesession erfahren. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zuschauen, ich bedanke mich fürs Dabeisein, wie gesagt. Und ja, ciao, tschüss, tüdelü und ja, Einspruch würde ich mal sagen, ne? Bye, bye, Guna oder so, bis dann.